Hey, Philip here, Islandyogi. Wanted to post a video to get some things out. I recently went live on a Facebook group and I couldn't really share what I shared with everybody there to the public because it was a private group. But I discussed some things that people can introduce to their diet right now and a few breath work, like breathing practices and just simple movements that will help encourage a healthier respiratory function and take a lot of stress off our immune system. I feel at this time it's pretty important that people are aware of these things. Um, right now we know there's a lot going on, and I just would like to project as much as I can to bring peace to people's mind. Everybody seems to be in a state of fear, and quite frankly, thousands are sick, but millions are afraid, and that's my biggest concern right now, is to alleviate that fear and help bring peace to just as many people as possible right now. This virus is overtaking a lot of people. The numbers are growing constantly. We haven't really seen too much of a halt in the growth. I know locally we've gone from like 9 cases to 40 to 70 or something like that where I'm at in Galveston, Texas. But I just wanted to share this video with everybody because there are a few things that we can add to our diets to really improve our immune system, and the breathwork practice I'm going to share at the end of the video. It's really simple. It'll help with anxiety. It'll really help bring yourself to the moment, the clear present moment, and that's what it's about, to just give you a little bit of peace in this troubled time. So our diets, our immune systems right now are something that are really beneficial. This virus is actually kind of weak. I know a lot of the treatment for it, they're saying stay away from medical anti-inflammatories. Like ibuprofen has been a big issue. People experiencing symptoms should avoid ibuprofen and try to stick with things to, if you are you're going to experience inflammation when the virus goes into your system before it gets all the way down into the lungs and deeper parts of the respiratory system. It's going to hit the nasal passage and the airways, and it's going to form mucus as the body's rushing white blood cells to this area to fight this virus and this foreign whatever it's experiencing. And we really want to work on having that area clear, but people would think, oh, anti-inflammatory, because white blood cells rush there, inflammation, oxidation, mucus, all these things occur, and we want to help that out in the way that we're familiar with. But ibuprofen is something that we're finding is a common denominator in a lot of the deaths that they've experienced everywhere. So not only should that be avoided, when you look at oxidation and you look at the troubles with your body experiencing this inflammation, one of the main things that we can help the body deal with that with is antioxidants. Everything that we experience that's a stress on the body creates free radicals, these imbalanced molecules. Some of them are more manageable than others, like sun exposure. When the body's processing, energy and utilizing the sun for vitamin D, it stresses some of the oxygen molecules closer to the layers of the skin, and it creates free radicals. But those are more manageable than the ones from eating processed foods, high sugar diets. You can honestly keep a healthy balance between the two, and that should be done right now to support the immune system. Too many antioxidants, people that drink like a lot of bottled green teas and stuff like that actually can become unhealthy. Too many free radicals leads to all sorts of health issues. But the balance between the two, I felt should be really focused on right now. A little bit of sun exposure is good. Getting some sun is good, and that's going to create these manageable ones, and it's going to allow the body to process the vitamin D and the other things for energy. The ATP molecules will be created close to the skin. If you have access to a sauna, infrared saunas are really great for boosting the immune system in that way, because they don't damage the body in that sense as far as creating this excess of free radicals, but they allow the body to process this energy. But you want to balance these things, so you do need antioxidants. Now, you could supplement things, you can have beverages and stuff like that you get bottled and prepackaged, but those come with a lot of processed sugars, and if not processed sugars, sugar substitutes and sweeteners, which are just as bad in my opinion. But I would like to suggest just a handful of food items. Some of the best sources of antioxidants are going to be your flavonoids, which are the things that, there's several different types of flavonoids, but one in particular that's good for antioxidants for helping support the immune system are flavanol flavonoids, and these are found in an abundance in a lot of different food items. But flavonoids, selenium, it's another very important thing to get into your diet. If you're looking at your vitamins, if you're looking at your food, read nutrition facts, look for these things, look for the different flavonoids, Google these things, and just see what you can get from a whole food item, from a natural food item, to start adding to your diet that you already enjoy or that you may have around the house. I know the produce section in a lot of grocery stores hasn't even been touched, but all the canned foods and the toilet paper and everything's wiped out. And vitamins, everybody's familiar with vitamin C. That's the best thing for the immune system. All your immune support supplements, they have vitamin C. I went and looked at the vitamins, and I was looking for a particular berry extract that I couldn't find because that was gone and vitamin C was gone. But vitamins A through E help support the immune system. Those things are all very important. So these food items, the first three things that I say people should really focus on getting in their diet right now, just because they support the immune system in such they put such an impact on the body as far as these healthy antioxidants, these flavonols. Garlic. A lot of people don't like garlic. Get as much garlic in your body as you can right now. If you don't like garlic, get a garlic extract. If you can't find that and you can find garlic, cut it up into small pieces, break your clove, skin your clove, cut it up and take it in a pill form. Your body will still get more out of that than it will out of just a whole, whole food vitamins different from your average multivitamin. These things, we buy them at the store all the time, and we don't realize that you look at the number of the percentage of your daily value of whatever that your multivitamin holds, your gel cap, your chewable, your typical pill form multivitamin, and you just cut that number in half and then cut that in half, and that's probably what you'll get out of it. The rest will just be digested. So garlic is a big one, though. Garlic is really great for the immune system, and it's something that it's in common in every household. A lot of us love the flavor of it. Another thing that you can find anywhere, it may be heavily salted, but if you can find some that are lightly salted or that don't have a weird flavor added to it, sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are a healthy source of vitamin E, and they're also good for supporting the immune system. One of the last things that I like to bring attention to, as far as these more common, easily, readily available foods go, leafy greens and colorful vegetables. We can find them anywhere. Go for those. If you're not already real big on those, because a lot of people are, most people think they have a healthy enough diet as it is. A few things that I just like to note. Don't overcook your colorful vegetables, and slightly cook your leafy greens. Raw leafy greens are great. It's good to have a healthy amount of them in. They do have more vitamin. They are a healthier source of vitamins, but they're also a healthier source of other things. For instance, raw kale contains something that it inhibits natural thyroid function, and it's a big long G word. Kind of sounds like goiter, Megatron, something. I'm not familiar with it completely, or I just can't memorize the term. But so cooked leafy greens, raw colorful vegetables, garlic, sunflower seeds, great things that are kind of less common in everybody's household that I feel people should look for. Berries. Get all the berries you can. The extract I was looking for was an elderberry extract. Elderberries cooked are very healthy. They're one of the best sources of antioxidants and best immune supporting natural foods that we can find. Berries, everybody kind of likes berries. They just seem a little bit too high end for most people. But one thing of berries can go a long way in the household, especially for an individual. If you're living on your own, go ahead and just enjoy some berries as a snack. Put down the Twinkie, put down the processed food, and just enjoy a small container of berries with some yogurt. Yogurt's also a very immune supporting food. It's a very healthy food. Everybody's familiar with all the digestive benefits. But yogurt also carries antioxidants. These things are very important right now. Ginger is another big one. Ginger is something that I say that a lot of people, they really just aren't good with eating it. They may have found it with their sushi one time and they didn't just like essence the sushi with it. They just ate the ginger and they're like, oh, that's gross, I don't really like it. Well, if it's not that enjoyable, just again with the garlic situation, just cut the ginger up into small chunks and take it in a pill form. And green tea, everybody's familiar with that. Warm green tea can be with a little bit of citrus, vitamin C, citric acid, breaks loose the mucus and helps keep the upper respiratory system clear. Something warm also does the same exact thing, and the green tea is rich in a wide variety of antioxidants, and it's something that I feel that everybody should enjoy a little bit of. A healthy amount of sunlight exposure, 1 glass of green tea a day, keeps that perfect balance right there. It's one of the best things we can do for our immune system. Sunlight exposure and green tea, that combination I try to implement into my daily life as much as possible. Even if it's gray and cloudy outside, I'll still get out there and get what I can as far as sunlight goes. Try to enjoy some green tea daily. So those things are very important to consider right now. If you are supplementing your diet with a whole food multivitamin, or even just a gel cap or a pill form or chewable, any type of multivitamin, that's good, but still try to make an effort to put these natural food items into your diet. These are things that are going to support this immune system and have a much greater impact on combating these free radicals than the vitamins do. Vitamins honestly really Some people are against them. I take a multivitamin daily, but a lot of people seem to think that they're a gimmick. I really don't want to go into opinions and debate on that, but I think it's fine. Do both. Do both right now, and try to get as much time near an open window, even though we're supposed to stay inside. Or just step out on the porch. If you can walk to a park away from people. Avoid people. Don't really avoid trees though. I don't understand why people can't get that. They either think they go outside and they can do whatever they want and run around and go to the store and do this and that. That's part of going outside, or they're forced to stay inside. You should avoid people, keep a comfortable distance, keep your hands off things, stay clean, don't touch your face, do all the things that you're advised to, but you're not necessarily advised to avoid sunlight. At least open a window or sit near an open window if you can. So those are just some little tips that I like to share with people. But one of the more important things that I wanted to record in this video and share, and I'm trying to keep it as short as possible because my camera source isn't really adequate for a long video, and I don't want it to take forever to upload. I want to share a little bit about breath work and breathing practice and just mindful breathing. Mindful breathing is got more benefits. There's more benefits to mindful breathing than I can sit in this video and explain. The particular practice that I want to share today is a simple ratio breath with a vibrational, not necessarily a chant, but you're just emitting a vibration with the exhale. And there's a little neck movement and chest movement to it. You're opening the heart with the exhale, and when you inhale, you're putting a little bit of compression on the neck, compressing that samurai and all the lymph nodes around the neck that do carry toxins, which later have an impact on the body, and they stress the body further when it has to process them. There are a lot of things you can do as far as fasting and different workouts and fitness routines and just getting outside really that can help your body process these more. But this breath work alone while we're stuck inside can have a pretty strong impact on just supporting the relieving the stress in the body, both physical and the mental stresses that we're experiencing. Anxiety is something that everybody is faced with right now. I know a lot of people that are normally really happy, really cheerful people that are just stressed because of the current state of things. The situation seems to be pretty stressful for most. But the idea behind this ratio breath is to, one, find yourself not necessarily in a full meditative position. You can sit upright in a chair like I am, but you really want to have your back properly aligned when you just practice mindful breathing, whether you're standing, whether you're lying, whatever you're doing. If you're sitting, you just want proper alignment in the back because it allows for a fuller breath without causing any stress on any of the muscles in the back or in the abdomen that will kind of just take you away from the moment. You'll focus more on that little bit of pain between your shoulder blades if you're sitting wrong, or your stomach won't. It'll feel restricted when you're trying to actually utilize the diaphragm for the breath instead of just expanding the chest. Diaphragmatic breathing is real important, but it's a lot easier if you sustain a healthy back posture. So understanding that the base of the back, the tailbone curves inward. The lumbar, your back just pulls a puzzle. It goes from in to out, thoracic curve, and then the cervical curve in the neck goes back in the opposite direction. So you really want to align these curves almost in a perfect stack. The thoracic curve should be the only one that's slightly off, but that is further off from everything. But that's because it's the longest curve that we have. It's the most pronounced, and if that's a little bit further back from your tailbone where you're sitting, you're doing it perfectly. But if you're leaning forward to accommodate that and try to get everything right, so what I suggest, don't worry about all those things. What I suggest is finding a comfortable seated posture, pulling your shoulders up to relax them, tilting yourself forward in your seat, and then from the lower back, straightening yourself. So you fully engage the lombardic curve and you allow the thoracic curve to rest gently on top of that. Once you feel nice and straight and stable, you can kind of lean side to side and you feel the stability there when you practice that. It's proper sitting. If you're sitting in the chair, you do the same thing. Don't just sit straight down in the chair. Lean forward, sit your butt down in the chair, and then lean upward. And just properly engage that lombardic curve so the thoracic curve is comfortably rested on top of that. Okay, so once you found this perfect seated posture, you really want to just focus on tension in two places. You'll see a lot of meditations where they'll say focus on tension in your hands, shoulders, everything. Focus on the tension in your face and neck and the tension in your abdomen. Once you release the tension there, all the stuff at the extremities, that kind of just goes away with the mindful breathing. So if you're not familiar with these practices, don't go for the fingertips, the knees, the legs, the weight of your body rested on the earth. Just release the stomach, kind of relax the face, just bring attention, bring awareness to the tension around the mouth, Bring awareness to the tension in the eyes, around the ears. Just allow your mind to kind of flow over the head and over the stomach, and just allow awareness itself to just let that tension go away. And the idea behind the ratio breathing, the practice that I want to share, is sitting in that comfortable seated posture. You'll breathe in and you'll count at a comfortable pace. You'll just count for, say, a 4 count. This is a real typical ratio for breathing in this practice. You'll breathe in for 4, and then you'll retain the breath. You'll hold that breath in. So you're breathing in, you're allowing the tension in the stomach to ease away, and the stomach expands with the breath. Nobody's around you, and if they are around you, they should be close people that you see on a regular basis. So just let the gut hang. Push it out, release all that tension that we carry around. No one needs to see a flat belly right now. Just let the pot belly hang, push that out, let the breath sink in all the way into the body, and retain the breath. In for 4, retain it for 4. And then when you let it out, this is how we let that anxiety go. We're going to slightly restrict the airways. Some people can't do it. The idea behind restricting the airways is really simple. If you take a whole bunch of air and you blow it into a balloon, and then you slightly restrict the top of the balloon and you squeeze on it, you'll notice that that little part of the balloon right beneath where you squeeze it, it also gets kind of inflated. So when you restrict the airways, restrict the vocal cords, and you allow that breath to go out slower, so you're breathing in for 4, you're holding for 4, and you're trying to release the breath for something between 6 and 10, or 8 perfectly, ideally. It'll be 4, 4, 8, retain the out breath for 4, and then just keep repeating. But the idea behind restricting the airways is to kind of give a little bit of expansion to the upper respiratory system, to the sinus cavity, and to your airways and everything above the lungs. And even to the lungs, you're putting a little bit of stress on it. You're encouraging healthy blood flow, not from fighting stress or not because viruses have been introduced to your system, but your body's just stretching the upper respiratory system and encouraging a healthier amount of blood flow. So you'll breathe in for 4, hold for 4, release for 8, slightly restricting the airways. Retain for 4. Pull in a full breath for 4. This ratio can grow, your numbers can grow. You can play with it, find what's comfortable for you, but just try to make sure that your out breath is longer than your in breath and you're restricting the airway. To really practice restricting the airway, in yoga we talk about Uddiyana or Ujjayi breathing. The idea is that you want an audible breath for that practice. When the breath becomes audible, when it goes from that sound is being created because the vocal cords are closing in on the breath and they're just holding the breath back. When you do this through the nose, it's a little bit more of a retention and just a little bit more restraint on the breath than doing it through the mouth. So when you're doing it through the nose, I'm not sure if you can hear that, but making the sound through the nose, it's holding the airway back and it's the air back in the airways, and it's putting a little bit of pressure there. And that combined with a little bit of vibrational breathing, which I'm about to touch on, can not only have a tremendous impact on just your natural respiratory health, but everything around it, the lymph nodes, everything that you experience, the stress in this area, it'll get a little bit of massage when you combine it with this vibration. People who are familiar with chanting an Om vibrates the central nervous system. Om vibrates the chakral system, the different parts of the body that we feel they get off misaligned, different parts of the body that people believe are responsible for keeping you grounded and centered and focusing your energies evenly. These things are realigned. These things are massaged. These things are comforted by this this internalized vibration. So the start of the practice, I would suggest 5 to 10. If you can go for 20, just mindful breaths. Just in for 4, retain for 4, out for 8, retain for 4, repeat. In, retain, out, retain, in, retain. And that little bit of restriction. Now, for those of you who really can't get the audible breath, it just seems hard for you, not the nostrils, but right here above the nostrils, I got a big nose, so this is easy to illustrate. If you push down to where you kind of sound like you're talking like this, and then you let that breath out the nose, you're retaining the breath, but it's a little bit past the vocal cords, and it really will give more of an expansion of the sinuses. You might actually knock some phlegm loose, so if you practice that, get some tissue and just do it a few times and clear things out. There are some other pranayama, some yogic breathing practices that, in that word pranayama, it's a word that people who are in yoga are familiar with. It actually closely translates to restraint of the breath, or breath restraint, or restraint of the subtle energies. Prana being the subtle energies that are carried in our breath, which have been recognized for thousands of years from people in the Indus Valley that were practicing yoga before, some of the earliest forms of medicine, earliest spiritual practice, earliest fitness, physical practice, the earliest practice of self-discipline and denial of self. All that aside, they were practicing restraining the breath, right? Just a little bit of restraint in the breath can go a long way. A longer breath leads to a longer life. A more mindful breath leads to a more mindful state of being. So practicing these long, mindful, healthy breaths has a tremendous impact on our anxiety, but also our respiratory system, which is something that's being attacked by this coronavirus currently, and I feel like everybody should take to this practice right now. One of the things that I heard recently is that first thing in the morning, it is healthy just to check on yourself and take a real deep breath and just see how long you can hold it. If you're having a hard time holding your breath and you know your breathing isn't where it's normally at, it's like your morning assessment, you may be experiencing some symptoms shortly, or you may have been exposed to something. That being said, beyond the ratio breathing, something that can really, really help people, and I feel have more of an impact in combating any of the viruses that we may come across now, would be the vibrational breathing. Most people are familiar with chanting an Om and chanting different mantras and these different things that people go with. There's some really cool things out in different spiritual practices, and they're all involving these different languages and different terms. But for those of us who don't really have a mind for that, or really aren't open to things like that, which isn't me, I chant a lot of different mantras and Oms, but I have a lot of different prayers. I'm a spiritual, religious person personally, but for those of you who aren't, simply an inward vibration, vibrating the back of the sinus cavity, to put it in simplest terms, with your out breath. So you'll breathe in for 4, retain, These things can be really beneficial. Not only are you massaging and relaxing your central nervous system, you're experiencing that relaxation all throughout the body, you're strengthening the respiratory system, you're also vibrating all the mucus and the different things that can be kind of caught up in congesting your airways. So that, combined with the ratio breathing and the simple movement that I'm about to share, I feel will have the greatest impact on strengthening the respiratory system and helping the immune system out through this mindful breath work, as well as combating anxiety and providing you with a healthy practice and relaxation, and quite frankly something to do. A lot of us feel stuck at home with nothing going on. So here's the movement that I'd like to share with you. It's kind of tricky because it involves, first I suggest relaxing the shoulders. You'll put your elbows down at your hips if you're in a seated position, or you could stand and just let your arms hang at your side. But the idea is to lift the shoulders to the ear and just drop them. If you have some pre-existing injury in the shoulders or the upper back, just try not to do it that way. Just roll them gently and kind of put your head in like a diving motion, right? And just relax those muscles. But I suggest doing this 3 to 4 times. And then to get the body ready for a good breath practice, I also suggest putting your hands against the inner thighs, taking that first deep breath, pulling as much as you can, like almost sucking in air and pushing against the inner thighs, lifting the torso, expanding the torso, taking a lot of the tension off the diaphragm. If the stomach's released and you're lifting like this, you'll find that you can take a fuller breath. Releasing this breath and allowing the stomach to just naturally fall in. Doing that a few times, it'll prepare you for this breath practice. So you'll do that a few times, then you'll sit down and you'll as many mindful breaths, just basic breathing to the ratio, to the count as you can, and then introduce a few of the vibrational breathing, just a few chants, just if you're comfortable with the Om, Later I'll probably release a video about the Om, just discussing where it comes from, the history behind it, the beliefs behind it, its use in different Eastern practices, its use in modern Western yoga, the stuff that we all see in the studios and stuff nowadays, and just whatever people are interested in. If anybody wants to leave comments or questions about the stuff, just leave questions, I'll answer them. Okay, so the movement, once the shoulders are relaxed and the body's in this comfortable seated position, the movement is real simple, but it's something that kind of, you have to do it once or twice before it becomes real simple. It's one of those. With the in-breath, you're going to lift the shoulders, rolling them back, and you're bringing the neck in. You're compressing all these lymph nodes. You have hundreds of these different, in your lymphatic system there's like 300 and something different little lymph nodes all throughout the body, and several of them are in the neck. When you get sick, you notice that your bottom of your neck feels swollen. You get these little rocks. They're in the armpits, they're in a lot of the joints, they're inside your body everywhere. So you really just kind of want to, they're filters. You just want to be aware of the fact that they are potentially holding toxins. So sometimes people that practice this, that smoke cigarettes, consume excessive amounts of drugs and alcohol, eat a lot of processed foods, you'll experience a little bit of a sinus cold or something afterwards, because you're helping your body hurry up and process some of these toxins. You're just kind of like, you got this dirty bar rag that you're mopping up all the filth that your body has to filter with before it gets into your deeper organs and really hurts something. So these things are on top of filtration in that sense in your bloodstream, and they are being squeezed out. So you deal with this now while you're at home, you're still feeling healthy. You're breathing in, lifting the shoulders, rolling them back, and lifting and pulling the chin in at the same time. So it look similar to this. If I can just straighten this out so that you can see. Retaining the breath, and on the out breath, combined with the Om, you're straightening the neck forward. And the reason you push the neck forward is because now you release all the tension on it. In that sense, the SMI muscles that run from here up to the back of the ears, it feels like you're pretty much, they're at an angle here. You roll the neck forward to where they come up nice and straight, right? When you take them nice and straight, you relieve a lot of the muscular tension around the upper lymphatic system around your neck. So you're kind of helping yourself process a lot of these things by releasing the tension, creating an excess of tension, releasing the tension. In the shoulder motion, with the in breath, they roll from the front up, and with the out breath, they roll back down to the front, up to the front. Like I say, it's kind of tricky at first, but if you just practice it, you don't have to practice it with the breathing, with the motion, or with the vibration. I'm sorry, practice it with breathing. Don't hold your breath, but just practice becoming fluid with the rolling of the shoulders. They're going in a backward circle. When they reach the top, the chin is tucked in. When they come back around to the front, the chin is up. Top of that curve, chin is in, chin is up. Pulling the neck in, pushing it out. All right, so this simple practice can relieve a multitude of stress in the body. It'll take a lot of stress out of the different areas that are holding on to foreign toxins, foreign things that are entered the body and being filtered through the lymphatic system. It can provide a healthy amount of blood flow and a little bit of expansion on the upper respiratory system. You're vibrating the central nervous system, giving it a nice massage, and you're allowing the body to engage in this practice. The mind is engaged in this practice. The breath is engaged in this practice. For those of us who have spiritual beliefs, body and mind come together and practice. The spirit's right there with them. So you're fully enticed in a practice that will relieve anxiety. It'll strengthen your upper respiratory system. It'll strengthen it'll encourage a healthy respiratory function in general, and it'll help strengthen the immune system. So hopefully you got something out of this little video. I'm new to the whole video thing. I haven't even talked on camera ever. I've only talked in front of small classes and personal clients. For those of you who really don't know who I am, I'm a yoga teacher and I'm a fitness trainer. I'm NASM, CPT, ERYT. I've got all these different certifications and things, and in reality I'm just a guy who wants to help people. I want to love you guys, and I want you guys to keep your peace at this time. Don't let the fear overcome you. If the fear overcomes you, it's easier for the virus to take you. The fear will weaken your immune system. So just stay strong, keep your peace, and know that you're loved and be loved. It's as simple as that. Be love to somebody today. Love yourself. Love something. Love this practice. I will upload some videos soon where I'll share some yoga sequences with people that can help with the just strengthen the lymphatic system, strengthen the nervous system. I also want to share some hip opening sequences, my morning practice, my personal morning practice. Trying to get some more camera equipment. Right now I'm actually borrowing a camera, and this is the tripod came from donation. So if anybody can help me out with things like that, I'll share some links to a GoFundMe that I put together for camera equipment. And just any questions that people have in the comments, any things that you guys got going on right now you want to ask me about, feel free to. I love you guys. You guys are loved. You are loved, and be loved. And have a beautiful weekend or life.